You got yourself a sweet blade.
Did that even fade? Did that just cut over? Who gives a shit? Maybe we just cut over.
Welcome to the It Takes All Kinds podcast, episode 217. We're recording this on Friday, May 23rd. You'll be hearing this on Monday, May 26th. Carson, how the hell have you been spending your week away from LA? How the hell are you doing?
I saw my breath that whole time.
Oh, yeah, I know.
I also just realized not this episode, but the episode after comes out on my birthday. I just had that real.
Well, then you shouldn't have mentioned anything at all this episode.
Yeah, but I just thought about that.
Good for you, man.
I am doing great. I am very happy to be back. It's been 2 weeks since we last spoke to you. Since I last spoke to Gavin too, I ignored him.
That's true. I
2 weeks.
I never see this guy.
He didn't even know we were gonna take the episode off, and I didn't even tell him. He's just like, "Can you answer me? I want to know if we're gonna record." And I just
and whenever he was in town, I didn't even know about it.
No, you had no idea.
No clue.
Dark. It's not true.
No clue.
No clue. I need to get a new chair. Can I tell you something? Well, that's normal. That normally happens, but it is annoying. I'm currently naked from the waist down. No, I'm currently sitting on a blanket, a blanket, because my chair is deteriorating, and there is something on the right side of it that if there's not anything on there, it pokes me in the leg, and it sucks. So I have to sit on a blanket now, and I want to buy a new chair. I just haven't had the time to figure out what that means, and therefore I'm sitting on a blanket.
You really look like a real editor having one of those chairs that's really decrepit, old. It's been sat in for decades, and you never replace it.
Had it for a year and a half.
That's crazy, dude. You gotta find a
This whole thing is
one of those designer chairs, like the Herman whatever.
That's
bullshit
what I want.
thing.
I want a Herman Miller, and
you can. I mean, the thing about those though is that it's an investment, right?
Yeah.
It's an investment, because you're going to be sitting in it for so long. You know, you're going to be using it every day, so you can kind of rationalize the cost. And if you had an LLC, you could write it off as a business expense.
Who's this?
This is just my business guy. This is a business guy for the chair. This is my business guy.
Gavin, who's only at
the brilliant business mind.
Canes and pharmacies thinks that this is business people.
This is business people. They sit in these chairs and they do this. I swear to God.
All day.
All day.
Walk into an office, and if you don't,
they're going to be sitting in their Herman Millers, and they're going to say, "Oh wow, yeah, this looks really good. This does look really good. Yeah."
Write it off. I don't care.
Write it off. You could. It's a business expense. Go ahead. Write it off.
We have an LLC.
We're using it at work, aren't we?
Aren't we? I think we are. No, Gavin, I can write it off either way.
You can write it out. Write it off. You know what I'm saying?
No, you can write it off.
Give me that old chair.
Okay, I'll mail it to you.
Okay, perfect.
I'll hack it up into little pieces,
and I'll glue it back together. Yeah, perfect.
You'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna get a Herman Miller, but Wes, shout out Wes, my business partner. He's not. I mean, we work a lot together. I wouldn't say I wouldn't say we're partners in business, in the legal sense. He told me that I need to be checking Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace because a lot of Nepo babies out here buy Herman Miller chairs and then get rid of them.
Throw them out.
Yeah, because he bought his for like $200.
Yeah, you can.
And I was like, "Oh, Herman Miller."
And you also have to make sure that you search You have to make sure that you search other terms as well whenever you're doing this, because if you just put office chair, you get a wide array. But if you put designer office chair or really nice office chair, what you get is people who don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And you can lowball them and they'll be like, "Yeah, sure, here you go."
Sure, whatever.
I mean, it's the same.
Gavin, you're telling the guy who's been buying vintage clothes for 10 years how to haggle?
Well, no, I mean just in terms of weird things that people will say or misspell things. So like maybe they spell Herman wrong. They put 2 N's. Stuff like that like a lot of people neglect to search.
Yeah.
And then they're like, this isn't fucking selling. I don't know what's going on.
What is happening? I have this whole business right here.
I have this whole business practice going on, and they don't want to buy these Herman Millers.
I have a Herman Miller chair right here. That shell chair.
Shut up.
All right. Gavin and I went to New York. So what were you going to say? You're pointing at the spacecraft.
I got a red chair over here, and I want you to identify it. Thank you.
I wish I could see it.
I know. Me too.
But unfortunately, you're outside.
But that's for next week.
Next week, we'll find out.
Next week, we'll find out what chair that is over here.
Really wish I knew what chair
we got chairs galore.
Really?
No.
Okay.
Not really.
All right. Gavin, I went to New York.
So you went to New York.
I went to New York, and it was a gay old time.
The Big Apple.
The Big Asshole. The Windy City, the Spinning City, the city that never stops.
Shanghai.
The city that is never not awake. It's always awake. It's always alive. It's a bustling, bushy city. Bushes everywhere.
That's why they have Bushwick there.
Oh, yeah, dude. You walk down the street, I spotted like 6 bushes.
No, I mean, they have Bushwick there.
Yeah.
That's like Bushwick. A borough. They got Bushwick there.
Well, I was staying in Flushing, which is now the biggest Chinatown in New York. It's bigger than the actual Chinatown.
Watch out! He's gonna turn into a rogue shoot pretty soon.
Listen, I just need some sugar water. Does that make sense to everybody? What? Where is that?
I can't believe he was from New York. Wow.
I can't believe they're not hiring me for the next Mission Impossibles. Men in Black. Gavin, I went to New York, and I did stay in Flushing, Queens. That is not a joke. It is actually called Flushing, like what you do with the toilet.
Oh, I know.
Oh, I know. And very interesting place because nobody speaks English, and it feels like you're in a whole other land. It was the first time in Flushing.
Well,
been to New York now 3 times. This is my mom's first time, so I got to kind of
be for free every time.
Went for free every time. That's not true. I mean, I had to pay my way every time. I had to pay for a hotel the second time I went. Kind of. It was my mom's first time going, so I kind of got to relive the tourist experience again by going around everywhere with her, and it was great. We went and saw Death Becomes Her, the musical on Broadway. That was really cool. I think it's up for some Tony Awards, which is coming up soon.
Did you see the movie?
I did the night before. And I loved it. I
have not seen either.
You should watch the movie. Is very, very good. I mean, the musical is good too. I realized I'm not a musical guy. I like plays, musicals, not so much. Not my favorite thing, but it had a lot of really good funny moments. I was telling you guys, but it had a cum joke that lasted.
And it was a running cum joke. It was a running cum joke.
It wasn't runny cum junk. It was like a play on words that then kept going for a second, and it was fun. And it was great. I was out there with both my parents, but my dad was working, so mostly just spent every day with my mama, ate a lot of pizza, and it was great. It was a real fun time.
Good to hear.
And then as you know, I came back home after that New York trip for a couple days.
Yeah, you did.
Got to see the boys, got to see most of the boys. Actually, I didn't get to see, I have the St. Charles boys, which is you and Spencer, and then I have, and Quinn. And then we got the St. Louis boys, you got like Avery, and I guess I would include Brendan in there, but he's technically in the Chuck, but. Yeah. And then our friend Carver, who I did not get to see, unfortunately. They were busy. The only day I was free, so got to see most of y'all. Was back there, unfortunately, for some terribly tragic weather that we avoided. It didn't affect us, thankfully. If I remember to, which I will, I'll put a charity link in the bio where people can go donate for for cleanup and any other relief from that, because it was very devastating, destructive, and yeah, so that was interesting to be back for that. I just can't get away from these goddamn natural disasters. They just follow me where I go. I came back from St. Louis, and then the fire started. I come back, and then this tornado happens. Just can't get away. Just can't get away. But yeah, it was great. It was so good to see all you guys and have a little vacay. And now we're back, and we're right in it.
And now before you even, I guess the day you went to New York, was the day that I graduated college.
It sure was.
So I'm doctor now.
That is true. I forgot to address you as doctor when we started.
It's doctor.
It's doctor. And I want to be very clear. That is not a joke. Gavin is
that is not a joke. I have a PharmD.
He is.
I have a PharmD from an accredited pharmacy college. So.
not from an online.
No.
University.
And those are still accredited.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, 7 years with some of these people. Had a great time celebrating afterwards. Too good of a time. I walked from Ballpark Village to my friends in Soulard, so that was cool.
Was it like 2 miles you said or something?
Yeah, it was like 2.5 miles.
That's fun.
And on one of the colloquial, yeah, whatever. On a dangerous street. Everybody everybody just knows it is like a dangerous street. But I walked in and I was at 2 a.m. I was like, this is fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
Too much fun also because the next day I felt like shit and left my flannel at her house, so I have to go back.
You're never gonna get
but
that flannel.
I've been studying away and plucking away, and by the time you're hearing this, I will be at my last shift at Mercy in St. Louis. So
I meant to ask you that before we started. When that was.
That is my last shift. Tonight was my one of my last shifts. My last Friday shift. Last weekend was my last weekend shift. So I saw my weekend people last weekend. They got me a couple cards. Very thankful for that. So looking at places to stay and what I need to do next, but gotta get a test. I'm able to test and everything like that in Minnesota. I just gotta schedule it. So just one of those things that
never ends.
Is gonna happen. So
and you gotta get up there and save your damn Timberwolves.
Yeah, no kidding, man. I mean, watch most of game 3 and turn it off. No, that was yesterday.
Oh,
turn it off in the third. I was like, yep, the OKC's run away with this. Chet Holmgren got a lob pass, and I was like, you can turn it off. We're good.
So is it
this?
Are they done, or is there one more game?
There are 2 more games.
Two more,
and same thing for the Knicks and Pacers. There are 2 games left for them.
Okay.
And the Knicks lost tonight, so they lost both games at home to a inferior seed. So. But yeah, I've been trying my best to study and enjoy my time while I'm at home, because this could be it.
This might be it, folks. Well, I just want to give a shout out to you because you gave a speech at your graduation, and I just so happened to jump right in, probably a minute after you started, and watched it, and it was great. You did a great job. You're a great public speaker, better, one of the best.
They've always told me I'm a great orator, but I just don't think. That's actually one of the reasons why they told me to start a podcast, is because they're like, you're so good at public speaking, why don't you just start a podcast? So here we are, 217 episodes later.
And how's that gone for us?
Yeah, exactly. So and people have told me they're listening to it, and I've told. I got to tell people whenever I'm leaving. I'm like, you can always tune into my podcast at this point now. I'm going to tell people, I can tell people about it now as you're leaving, because it's like, I don't give a shit.
You can hear from what they're like, oh man, we should keep in touch. And it's like, no, we don't have to. Just listen to
you don't have to. Just listen to my podcast.
I'll tell you what I'm
literally. I'll tell you.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what I've been up to.
I'll tell you. Well, we might have a new influx of listeners, Gavin, if you don't mind me segueing, because I gave a little plug to our show on a show that I've mentioned a million times because I work on it, Office Hours Live, of course, because I was asked to fill in for the one and only Vic Berger the fourth. He was out on Thursday, this past Thursday, and Tim and the boys were like, "You want to fill in?" And I was like, "Absolutely." I had done it once, like a month after I moved out here, so this is my second time doing it, and of course I'm like, absolutely. I mean, I don't remember if I mentioned this the last time, but it's so funny, and I was thinking about this again, and I was like, Vic is the reason I started listening to Office Hours, which then I started working for it, and then is now the reason I'm out here, and now I'm in his spot. Like, it's such a weird, it's like a weird mind fuck. But it's great. It's so fun that they trust me to do that. And I was able to do drops this time. So sound bites. If you heard sound bites, most of them were Doug. But
I would say
I
by a
had to
mile.
jump in. Yeah. Well, he's the professional, and he
does have a lot of drops. I mean, I'm serious.
Yeah.
He has. I mean, we saw him live. He's got a whole
he's been doing it forever.
multi track of library. He's got libraries on libraries.
It's nuts. So yeah, I stood back. I knew my place, and I got like 4 pages. I got nothing, and I realized like in the middle of the show, I was like, oh, I don't have enough. Like I need more sound bites, because I'm like, now I get it, because they're nonstop going. Now I'm doing my actual job while co-hosting or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, it was awesome, and it was Nick Kroll was the guest, so it was a big guest, and so that was fun to be in the room for that, and it was great. And we did get into it. There was a little bit
spat,
a little bit of some podcast beef started that I am just caught between. If you haven't heard the episode, you should, but Tim went off because he saw me and Wes, as I mentioned earlier, on another show called Dark Web that we do with Paul Scheer and Rob Hubel. I've talked about it before, and he's the podfather. He runs. He had to just point it out. He says it how it is. That's how he is, and he said it. And I'm giving a little.
You weren't supposed to do that.
I'm giving I didn't sign any NDAs, but we recorded 2 episodes of Dark Web today, and I'll just say this: Paul and Rob also had some things to say, so that'll be coming out probably a week after this episode comes out. So
that's great.
The war has just begun, and I'm not taking sides on this. I'm not taking anybody's side.
You're like the
side.
kid that's in the divorce here,
I mean, I have to, Tim is right. Tim, he's the reason we're all here. And I told him I kissed the ring. I told him I'll do whatever to make it right. And I have to respect that. And he respects me. It's just, we're just caught in the middle. Malcolm in the middle. They call me Malcolm because I'm just stuck in
always in the middle.
I will say, I not intentionally. I wasn't planning on this happening, but because the reason I plugged our show is because on Office Hours we do a rec center or recommendation center at the end of every episode, where people could recommend things exactly like what we do with Whatcha Listening To. And I was like, oh, I got to shout out the podcast. And it was, I knew that it was kind of a humorous thing to do because of the fact that, we talked about another podcast.
About it.
Yeah. So I brought it up, and Tim made a joke of like, oh yeah, we don't really plug things that we're doing, which is not true. And then Nick Kroll was like, oh, why don't you whisper to me what the name of the show is and I'll plug it. And then I was like, it's the It Takes All Kinds podcast. And he's like, nah, I'm not saying that. I was like, oh, okay, I guess too many words.
Yeah.
So I was like, and then after that, I was like, oh, damn it. We were this close to could have had a soundbite of Nick Kroll saying,
yeah,
go listen to the It Takes All Kinds podcast. So struck out there.
Maybe next time.
Not this. Yeah. Maybe next time.
You should get Fred Armisen to do it if you ever get the chance.
Cool. I'll be like, hey, Vic, Fred's going to be in this week. Why don't you should stay home.
You should take the week off.
Just take the week off. I'll do it. No, I also want to just shout out to everybody. I got many messages of people.
I got so many
of people saying that I did a great job. So thank you to everyone who messaged me, including Vic, who said I did a good job. So I appreciate that. That means a lot.
It means you did something right, pal.
And listen, it does. Someone did leave a comment that I'm not angry at it. I think I'm more just upset of how true it is. Someone made a comment along the lines of that, and they weren't specifically saying it, like they weren't like Carson. They were just, but they like, I know they were talking about me, but they were like, oh, Stavros, it looks like Rogang's working for Stavros. And I was like, I do look like Stavros with good hair, don't I? And I was kind of like, yeah, that is true. That's a pretty good comparison. And not that I don't, like, I think Stavros is fine. Maybe some of the people he hangs out with, I'm not the biggest fan of, but I think he's fine. I think he's funny. It's just more, he's maybe not the best. He's not the most, he's not like, he's no Zac Efron. That exactly. He's that sound. He's the embodiment of that sound. I don't think he'd argue with that. And listen, I'm not saying again, like, I think he's fine. I like him. It's just, if someone was like, Carson looks like Charles Melton or
Zac Efron.
Then I wouldn't be complaining. Then I'd be like, oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, no, you're right. I do.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water.
But I also think that Stavros like polls. I've heard.
Yeah, that one girl.
I've heard that he polls. And if you don't know
can't
what
remember her name now.
Means, I mean, he polls the.
I usually have it on the tip of my tongue. I usually got my pulse on that whole crowd, but not recently. I've actually deleted all my social media apps to study. So.
Well, that was a mistake.
Yeah, I know.
Fucked up, dude.
Fuck, what was her name?
But yeah, shout out to all the Officers boys. Shout out to Nick Kroll, very nice man.
And he just celebrated the finale of Big Mouth.
Didn't even realize that was that night. He never mentioned it once.
I mean, I think that also just shows how much Nick's been in and on and with and
yeah,
everything.
He's a big deal.
He's got a lot of different projects.
He does.
Got a busy guy.
That's with all of these guys, though. With Tim and Paul and Rob and all of these
and
guys
you.
And me now. I am getting to that point where, like, when people ask, "Oh, what are you doing?" I just do stuff because I'm like,
do a lot of stuff.
What do I do?
Say it one more time.
Say it again, a little louder. But I'm not even near the point of what all the stuff they're doing. Holy shit. These guys are doing so much stuff. Holy shit. Can you believe this? It's crazy. Moving on, though. Enough about me. I could talk about myself all day. I really could. Oh, okay. Gavin, we like Fortnite. Don't we? Don't we, folks?
Yes.
We love Fortnite. And if you guys don't know, if you're not...
if you're even more out of the Fortnite loop than you already probably are as a viewer of this podcast, boy, have we got a treat for you this week.
We are big Fortnite people, and we got a real treat for you. Fortnite is in its Star Wars season right now, so of course we've been playing because I love Star Wars. I've seen all the movies 7,000 times. They're my favorite movies, actually. No, I'm only halfway through The Phantom Menace right now. but I love Fortnite now, and I'm, still getting my feet wet. And then Fortnite's like, hey, we got Star Wars season coming out, and I'm like, yippee! And you're losing your goddamn mind because you're a real real Star Wars guy.
I'm a real Fortnite gooner.
You're a real Fortnite guy. And just this past week, I guess this past Monday or the Monday before, Friday before, a week ago today, Fortnite released this Darth Vader NPC, I guess you would call it. Yeah. Is it an NPC?
Yep.
And who has been in the game, but now you can like team up with him, which has been a thing they've done before. But on top of that, it joins your voice chat and you can talk to it.
And ask him questions.
And an AI James Earl Jones Darth Vader voice will talk back to you. And you can ask it whatever you want.
And we experienced this firsthand. I was asking it what its favorite sandwich was in high school.
Yeah, which is a very important question.
It's a critical question.
Critical.
And he, in all honesty, refused to answer the question. He was very much like, I do not fool with these. You speak of these foundations of higher education. I did not spend as much time at school as maybe you have. I spent more time learning the Force.
Yeah, he wasn't mad about the sandwich part. He was just mad about the high school part.
Yeah, he was like, "Why are you bringing this up? Such childish, foolish things."
And there's clips of him saying inappropriate things that we don't.
Very inappropriate things that we can't say on this show.
Nope, and we won't, and we won't even try to. But you can get him to say very funny things, and most of the skins, he'll say the name of the skin. So I was, who is
Jar
it?
Jar Binks.
Yeah, Jar Jar Binks.
And then like, you and our friend Spencer, friend of the show, Spencer, were both wearing Jar Jar Binks. Uh-huh. So if you would talk, he would go, Jar Jar Binks. One. And then he'd reply. But he wouldn't. But a couple of times he said your username.
Yeah. And then you would ask him about your username, and he'd be like, I don't. Who is this? What is Comical Belch? I guess people know my username. Well, they already knew it because the Fortnite episode. But it's really, I'll be honest, it's really fun. And especially if you're a Star Wars guy, it's like.
It's one of those things that, like, if you played like 8 or 9 matches with this, you'd be like, okay, I'm kind of tired of having this guy around.
Yeah.
But the novelty gets worn off after like 2 or 3 times, I would say, because I think we did it 3 times, and by the 3rd time, I was like, all right, I think we're good.
Yeah.
Because they have apps where they already are synthesizing celebrities' voices that you can chat with and like call pizza places with and shit and fuck with them.
Of course.
And so it just gave off a lot of those vibes where it would start speaking in circles, and it would have the same prompts replied to, and it was a 2025 AI, right? But it was just
it's really fun, but it's like it's useless. It's stupid. It's just
nothing added to it whatsoever.
No, it's just fun. It's fun. Yeah. It's fun, and it's crazy that it's in Fortnite, licensed by Disney, and it's James Earl Jones' real voice. Because when he died, and his family has allowed Disney to use his voice for anything for Darth Vader from now until whenever. I don't think it ever runs out, to my understanding. And like wrote a letter saying that they were like wanted them to use this in Fortnite specifically. Yeah, like we'll talk.
I did not realize that.
Yeah, it's covered in this Variety article because I would say understandably SAG-AFTRA was not very happy about this, which I kind of didn't understand at first, and then I did, and then now I like kind of I have my own opinion about it, but so Variety posted SAG-AFTRA slaps Fortnite with unfair labor practice complaint over James Earl Jones AI recreated voice of Darth Vader. SAG-AFTRA is objecting to the use of AI. As we know, in the game Fortnite, the Actors Union said Epic owned Llama Productions, which I didn't know is what they were called, quote, chose to replace the work of human performances with AI technology, end quote, for the Star Wars-themed Fortnite Battle Royale mini-season launched last week. Quote, unfortunately, they did so without providing any notice of their intent to do this and without bargaining with us over appropriate terms. As such, SAG-AFTRA filed an unfair labor practice charge with the National Labor Relations Board against Llama Productions. So I totally understand that, because they have protocols for that and they didn't follow it, and so they were like, don't do that. And they kind of go on. Jones died in 2024 at 93, has signed off an agreement to allow his archival voice recordings to be used to recreate his younger voice from Star Wars films for future Lucasfilms projects. In addition, Jones' family had granted permission for the use of his voice in Fortnite, according to Disney, Lucasfilms, and Epic Games. James Earl felt that the voice of Darth Vader was inseparable from the story of Star Wars, and he always wanted fans of all ages to continue to experience it. His family said in a statement, quote, we hope that this collaboration with Fortnite will allow both longtime fans of Darth Vader and newer generations to share in the enjoyment of this iconic character. But SAG-AFTRA said Fortnite's use of Jones' AI-generated voice was not cleared by the union. In a statement, the union said, we celebrate the right of our members and their estates to control the use of their digital replicas and welcome the use of new technologies to allow new generations to share in the enjoyment of those legacies and renowned roles. That's very interesting. However, we must protect our right to bargain terms and conditions around uses of voice that replace the work of our members, including those who previously did the work of matching Darth Vader's iconic rhythm and tone in video games. That's really interesting because I feel like that's the first time I've heard SAG-AFTRA, the union, say that they're like cool with AI voices being used. Like, obviously this is a specific
they just
circumstance.
you have to ask for permission.
Yeah, because they want to, because they have the right in the union to bargain. To bargain wages for the people who did what did they say? Bargain terms and conditions around use of voice that replace the work of our members, including those who previously did the work of matching Darth Vader's iconic rhythm and tone in video games. So it
other voice actors. It essentially completely eliminated the option to negotiate terms with a Darth Vader sound alike.
Right.
And they used an AI over that.
Yeah.
Without talking to SAG-AFTRA about it because there was a family member who was in charge of their estate that said use this in Fortnite.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's an interesting thing, but it's totally they're
valid.
Right
it's a valid complaint.
Yeah, and especially with them saying we're fine with it being used. That shows that it
have to negotiate.
It was definitely Epic Games in the wrong here. That it sounds like they would have been fine. They just needed to
say
allow
something
that for them. Yeah, which is interesting because I was kind of like, because people are also outraged at the fact that it is an AI voice being used, but obviously the okay was given. But I was kind of like, I don't know if I agree with that. But then I was like, it does take the job away of, someone who could have done a voice. Am I glad? I think it's way cooler that it is the Darth Vader's voice, obviously. But, it does take someone's job away because, plenty of voice actors.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Plenty of voice actors could have could have done that. So I don't know that I understand, even though that's not what's being said here, I do understand that argument as well. Actors rep by SAG-AFTRA have been on strike. Oh, this was interesting. Actors rep by SAG-AFTRA have been on strike against several game companies, including Epic Slama Productions, since July 16th, 2024, in their best, last, and final offer on a new contract sent to SAG-AFTRA last week. The game companies made concessions with respect to AI. The most significant of these was the removal of a one-time payment option for unlimited pre-generated content per game. With that change, performers who consent to the use of an AI-generated digital replica would receive compensation for that use comparable to what they would have received had they directly provided services. Totally.
So you can use your voice. You could still use AI to reproduce your voice and make money from it.
Yeah, which is what it should be, obviously.
Which is crazy to say that wasn't happening before.
Right, because they could get away with it. But absolutely. I mean, I hope and assume that James Earl Jones' family is making money off of this.
Yeah.
I certainly would hope so. But I guess you never know. But yeah, total. I mean, obviously, that's paying royalties.
Yeah,
royalties. But yeah, just thought that was interesting since it was something we had experience with. We could kind of share our own opinions of that.
So we are going to talk about the Trump crypto dinner, which went fantastically, as I'm sure many of you may not have known or heard, but Donald Trump finally had the crypto dinner for his Trump coin.
Finally.
If you recall before the start of his inauguration, like the night before, I'm pretty sure, he launched the Trump coin and said that the people who owned the most for the longest would be able to meet him and have a dinner with him. So, so this is from NBC. I also I also looked at an article and read an article for Wired, but then they went paywall.
I do have it open, so I can, if there's anything from that, I can call from.
Yeah. The most important thing from that was the dinner that they got, but they mentioned it in here.
Yeah.
But they have a picture of the dinner in the Wired article, which is really cool. It looks really good. So yeah, I'll just go ahead and start with this. This is from David Ingram and Nanami Egwonwu. President Donald Trump held a private event Thursday for 220 crypto investors who had bought into his meme coin, defying bipartisan concerns from lawmakers that he was selling access to accumulate personal wealth, which is such a crazy thing to say. If you, God forbid a guy wants to get in touch with his constituents a little bit more by giving him access, giving them access to him by giving him more money. That's weird. Crypto enthusiasts, including former NBA star, this is a long shot here. Former NBA star Lamar Odom attended the dinner at the Trump National Golf Club in Northern Virginia, just outside Washington. About 100 demonstrators lined the road to the entrance, trying to shame attendees with chants and signs such as "Trump is a traitor," "Crypto corruption," and "America is not for sale." Okay, cool. I don't really care about Lamar Odom to give a fuck.
What?
To secure a seat, the mostly anonymous attendees had to be among the top 220 holders of the Trump coin, with the average participant spending $1.8 million, according to the blockchain analytics from Nansen. Two Trump-affiliated companies own 80% of the Trump coin project. While their ability to sell is restricted in the short term, the project's creators get a fee for every trade. Those fees have added up to more than $324 million since January, according to the research firm Chainalysis.
Chainalysis.
That does not sound real, but sure,
Nope.
Chainalysis. The precise amount going to Trump personally is not known. Every time there's a transaction, he gets a transaction fee. That just unconscionable what he's doing, said Ken Papage, a former Treasury Department official who was among the protesters outside the event. He's using the presidency to make himself and his family richer. It's not just for It's just not right for that to be happening in our country, said Papage73. Trump arrived at the dinner via helicopter and left the same way without speaking to reporters and barely speaking to the attendees, according to one of them. A 32-year-old man based in Austin, Texas, who declined to provide his name, said Trump spoke for about 15 minutes. And there's in the Wired article, it says that he spoke for 25 minutes, often going off track.
What?
He also asked the crowd. He was like, "What?" He was like, "Did you see that helicopter?" And someone said, "Yeah, it was very cool."
It was so cool.
They have a guy who was personally named in the Wire article, and obviously doing it for clout because he is someone who attended it and spray painted "Hold Trump" on his G-Wagon.
Cool.
And then he decided to not drive that to the event and instead drove a Lamborghini.
All right.
So, yeah, he's doing it for posterity's sake, I guess. The person said Trump did not reveal a new crypto policy, but instead spoke in support of a potential Bitcoin reserve and described himself as pro-crypto. A majority of people at the event, this person said, did not have an opportunity to speak with or take a photo with Trump, who promptly left at the conclusion of his remarks. He helicoptered in, he helicoptered out. We didn't really get to shake hands with him or anything, and it was really an interesting group of crypto people all in the same room, the person said. It's not about what I expected. I got the chance to be pretty close to the president when he was giving his speech. The dinner was advertised on his website as intimate and the most exclusive invitation in the world. The menu for the night included a Trump organic field green salad, filet mignon, pan-seared halibut, and lava cake. A photo posted by one attendee who goes by @crypto_bear showed attendees receiving a commemorative hat and card, which in the Wired article mentioned that some people claim they did not receive anything whatsoever at their chair, and that he actually gave Trump watches that were encrusted with something to only the highest 5 people who highest owning Trump coin people.
Okay.
And he did not personally deliver those to those people. And one of the guys who had that was pretty upset that he didn't personally deliver it to one of them in the Wired article. In another post from Crypto Bear written in Japanese, the user expressed disappointment with Trump's appearance. Quote, after giving a speech just under 30 minutes, President Trump danced as he left the room, the user wrote. He did the YMCA dance. The initial explanation said that we would go around the tables and take commemorative photos at each table, but for some reason that was no longer the case. That's a bit disappointing. Trump celebrated the event on Truth Social. Quote, the USA is dominating in crypto, Bitcoin, etc., and we are going to keep it that way, he wrote. After he arrived back at the White House on Thursday night, Trump told reporters the event was good, very good. In Congress, it sparked concerns on both sides of the aisle. Senator Cynthia Lummis, Republican from Wyoming, said this month that the exclusive dinner, quote, gives me pause. And Senator Tom Tillis, Republican from North Carolina, said the concept of the dinner, quote, in abstract is hard to understand. Senator Chris Murphy, Democrat from Connecticut, denounced the project at a news conference earlier Thursday. This is the most corrupt White House in the history of the country, he said alongside other lawmakers. Just because the corruption is playing out in public where everybody can see it doesn't mean that it isn't rampant, rapacious corruption. The editorial board of the Wall Street Journal, which often praises Trump on policy, urged him this week to call off the gala or at least disclose who attended, quote, so Americans know who may be trying to buy access to the president. On Thursday, the White House again refused to release a list. Also, in the Wired article, they mentioned that he had a blown up list of the top 20 donors, and they signed it.
Oh, cool.
Even cooler, right?
That's super cool.
The president is attending it in his personal time. It is not a White House dinner. It's not taking place here at the White House, said Carolyn Levitt, the White House press secretary.
But
good for her.
I read something in there that the White House wouldn't release the names of the people who bought it or something. I read.
Yeah, they're not going to release it. They said they won't.
Yeah,
because it was a private event. It was a personal event. It wasn't a White House event.
But it's his cryptocurrency.
But
with his
absolutely, it's his cryptocurrency, and he may be getting a fair share of the transactions. According to multiple photos posted on X by people who said they were inside the event, Trump was due to speak from a podium with the presidential seal. White House spokesperson Anna Kelly said this week that Trump was not acting to enrich himself. President Trump only acts in the best interests of the American public, which is why they overwhelmingly reelected him to this office, despite years of lies and false accusations against him and his businesses from the fake news media, she said. Trump's all-in dive into cryptocurrency is a sharp reversal from a few years ago when he bashed the industry. From 2019, I am not a fan of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, which are not money and whose value is highly volatile and based on thin air, he said in a series of social media posts.
Yeah, he was like a gold standard kind of guy.
Yeah, like the other meme coins, the Trump coin is far from a traditional investment. It is not tied to anything with tangible value. Well, I guess it was this time. And it is part of a carnival casino atmosphere that has returned to cryptocurrency since Trump was reelected in November. The fine print on the website of the Trump Project says the coins are intended to function as an expression of support for and engagement with the ideals and beliefs embodied by the symbol Trump, and are not intended to be or to be the subject of an investment opportunity, investment contract, or security of any type. That's weird.
Okay.
Yeah, right? Yeah, so why are you telling people to hold on to it?
Right.
That's weird.
Right.
The secrecy around the invitation list is set off a scramble to confirm who paid money to attend the dinner. The event's website published a leaderboard of who owned the most Trump coin, but with usernames instead of real names.
Mm-hmm.
Using publicly available information from the coin's blockchain record-keeping system, Bloomberg News reported strong interest in the coin among non-Americans. According to Bloomberg, 19 of the top 25 holders brought on foreign exchanges that they say exclude U.S. customers, and 56% of the top 220 bought on those exchanges. So it seems like there is a lot of non-Americans who are trying to get into the Trump White House. That's really weird. The top holder identified himself on Twitter, formerly this week, as Justin Sun, a Chinese-born crypto entrepreneur whom the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission sued in 2023, alleging fraud. The case is still pending, though the SEC has explored a possible settlement or dismissal following Trump's second inauguration. As people began arriving for the event, the price of Trump dropped suddenly by about 6%, indicating a significant sales volume before it stabilized again. Protesters, meanwhile, used megaphones to amplify their chants while standing in the rain for hours. They included a mix of local Democratic groups as well as a left-leaning group, Public Citizen. Rose Fabia, 66, a former employee at the Department of VA, said the event was a blatant example of corruption. These wealthy people, they're just here to pay access. That's all it is, she said. And he's taking advantage of it and saying, how much are you going to give me? How much are you going to pay for my crypto coin? It's a joke. It's corruption in our faces. One person at the dinner, Kendall Davis, sparred with protesters, rejecting their assertion that he is a blind supporter of Trump and implicitly advocating for his policies. Davis, a young black crypto owner, said that the industry has made him a multimillionaire after he previously was homeless. He characterized his attendance as a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to dine with the sitting president. I don't feel any type of remorse for coming here. My dad is black. He's proud of me. My grandma is black. She's proud of me. They're Democrats. Nobody in my family has ever ate with the president. Let me say this. If it was Joe Biden or Barack Obama, I would have came too. Which is just funny because there's no way in hell that Obama or Biden would have a cryptocurrency to do that because it is so corrupt and so not backed by anything. So
I wouldn't say that they never would, but it would be more far-fetched than a Trump or
you really think that like Joe Biden would have launched a cryptocurrency that was like $ Biden backed by the Biden family and his business practices?
I would not put it entirely past him. No. I just wouldn't. I wouldn't. I don't have
If it was a different Republican, I would say like it's possible. It would say it's also possible. Like if it was maybe like a Mitt Romney, I would say he probably wouldn't.
I think that's
he's already Mormon.
Yeah, I think that's a high.
That's
a Republican has a higher likelihood to do it, but I don't
think like Mitt Romney. I think of those guys as like the establishment. I think of like Joe Biden since he was in it since 1960 or 5 or something like that, right?
Yeah, but
1975.
if Hunter gets in his ear and is like, really think we should do this, Dad. He might be like, okay, if you say so. You know what I mean?
I don't think so. I really don't think so. I think it's too far for them to do. I think it's too far fetched.
I just have zero.
I don't think Hunter Biden had as much pull as people on the right made people believe.
But it's still his son. I mean, he pardoned him.
Yeah, because he knew they would charge him with something following this.
Like we talked about it before, and we didn't think that was right, and that's totally a overstep of power. He's allowed to do it.
But it's just like, so it's a blatant corruption thing. Like if it was like, because it's so in your face, right? Because it is so, it's directly backed by the Trump family. They've got Trump securities like linked into this, that it gives off like too much corruption up front. Now there is stuff that maybe in like a Barack Obama presidency that somewhere back end there would be something corrupt that was happening. I'm not saying that they're completely absolved of that. I'm just saying that it seems too far-fetched for someone of the establishment like that, who is more of a traditional quote unquote politician or president, to do that, regardless of seat of aisle.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think it seems blatantly corrupt to you and I think we're in the minority. I think there are a lot of people who don't understand it at all and don't understand how it's a problem. Therefore, I think we're getting to the point where it's becoming blatantly
too normalized,
corrupt. But I think we're getting out of the phase of like it being a cool new thing, even though it was corrupt then, and are now into a point where it's like, people are starting to, as soon as someone does a meme coin, be like, "Oh, that's a scam." Like we're starting to get to that point now,
right?
But I don't know. I just still wouldn't put it past anybody. I just can't. I have no trust for politicians at all.
It's mainly because you were a huge investor in the Hawk Tuah coin.
I was.
And you felt really betrayed by Haley Welch.
I just loved everything she was doing. I actually thought we were
and the Jake Paul coin, whatever his coin was.
Yeah, but me and the Hawk Tuah girl, I thought her and I were gonna get married one day.
And she said that the people who own the most Hawk Tuah coin would be able to meet her.
One day you're gonna be able to come in and marry me. We're gonna go down to Dolly World to get married.
Continuing, basically they just go on that people were.
Yeah, I mean. Unless
people
there's
were upset.
Else. Yeah,
this is it. Yeah, there were still protesters, mostly Democrats. The Chuck Schumer, Jeff Merkley. The measure would prohibit senior executive branch officials, including the president, from financially benefiting from issuing, endorsing, or sponsoring crypto assets. Which again is crazy, because like that's one of those things where it's like, it feels like that should have already been in place. Maybe like that's also like, crypto is so unregulated that the law hasn't caught up to them.
Right.
So they're allowed to do this.
Yeah. Exactly.
So yeah, it wouldn't be too far fetched for a Biden or Obama to do it.
Right.
But
less likely.
I digress. Less likely.
I'm just sad I couldn't be there, because I knew that'd be a group of cool people.
Yeah, I know, and they said that they had some really good conversations about it too.
Oh, I'm sure. It's so funny too, because it's like Gary V and every other crypto bro has done this like time and time again. Like we talked about it so many times, and it's just like Trump is so late into the game, and he's like, "Yeah, let's do a dinner." It's like everybody does this.
And it's always strange, because some of the people who are probably the most outspoken in support of cryptocurrency are also like the least likely to own like a meme coin or, something that they would promote. It's weird. It's like they want to sell you the snake oil, but they would never use the snake oil. They're like, no. I would stay away from that.
They're like, they know it's corrupt, so they're like, no.
Yeah, there's so many things that are like that. I mean, recently it came out that like Facebook executives restrict screen access to their children, but they let it run rampant on the general public. Stuff like that like generally you wouldn't like. I'm going to tell people you probably shouldn't drink soda, but I'm still going to drink soda. Or, it'd be like me saying, oh, you shouldn't drink soda. And then I'm going to go drink soda.
But dude, I mean, I knew people whose parents were heavy smokers and were like, they caught their, son or daughter or whatever smoking or vaping. It was like
the biggest fucking deal.
Yeah, they went ape shit on them. They were like,
yeah,
so anti-smoking, but yet we're like chugging cigs.
Chain smoking, lighting the next one with their old one,
which is like literally the most tactile version of that. Of like, you understand the addiction so much that but yet you're so against it.
Yeah, like it's just weird. Like that, even the most outspoken crypto bros don't invest. It's always these like, or like they even mention in this, it's mostly foreign investors, and it's people who are actively involved in the coin, investing in it. Like, they own the Trump family owns 80% of the coin.
Yeah,
like, do you know how to say that'd be like saying that like one person owns 80% of like a drum set, and then you're just like, I guess you're just supposed to like use a drum, like a single drum. Yeah, it's just like, everybody's got to fight over that. I don't know why everybody's fighting over this one little bit. It's crazy. It's so bad.
But that's what every cryptocurrency does. Is they have
that's like what every cryptocurrency is.
An investor that's outside but on the inside that owns a majority of it.
Yeah, I mean, all these meme coins do the exact same thing. Yeah, they do the exact same thing. Hartua coin was very much the same. I think they even had like a 95% stake on it or something like that.
Yep.
And they were outside, but they were also inside. They were the people. It's bad. And it's one of those things where even during, like, they were, trying to sue the Hartua girl for it. Mm. And I don't know what the end of the story was.
Which I was against.
I know. The huge Hartua guy. Bam. And the law just isn't caught up to cryptocurrency rug pulls.
Nope. Not quite. Not quite.
And it will be eventually, probably like 4 or 5 years from now.
Yeah, but way too late.
Way too late. These people will have already made off and went to Cabo.
It's already too late. Yeah. But it's going to be even later once they finally do something about it.
Yeah.
That'll happen though.
Curious about the future of finances if they're going to create a cryptocurrency trust.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, wasn't it Argentina or Venezuela did that? They like changed Venezuela changed their currency to cryptocurrency, and like their dollar value tanked to like nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's really cool.
It's an interesting country, Venezuela. Gavin, let's skip these clips since we're having OBS issues. Production talk garbage.
Yes, sir.
Actually, real quick, I just want to give a shout out to the movie Friendship. Everybody should go see Friendship. I was planning on seeing it with Gavin and our friend Spencer when I came back to visit. But for whatever reason, I don't know if maybe this was known all along and I just didn't know, but I found out that it wasn't going wide until today.
Yeah. This week.
But it was I could have seen it in LA like at the beginning of May, like special small theaters screening it. But I wanted to wait, and then I found out I couldn't, so I couldn't see it until I got back, and I literally saw it Monday, the day after I got back, because I was so excited to go see it. It's so good. It's doing great. I'm so excited to see how it does on this wide release. But like, dude, the per theater, and it's only like a couple hundred theaters that are screening it. The per theater was crazy. It was like thousands and thousands of dollars per theater. So, and it's great. People should go see it. It's bizarre and weird, but it's also like still follows a structure. And of course it's hilarious. And so many good people are in it. Obviously Tim Robinson, Paul Rudd. But then you have Carmen Christopher, who has a brief cameo, Eric Rahill, Whitmer Thomas. It's got
Connor O'Malley.
I mean, it just goes on and on. It's great. It's really good. Obviously, if you're I Think You Should Leave fan, it's a no-brainer to go see. You gotta give. It's I mean, this isn't a spoiler, but and I probably already talked about it whenever we first saw the trailer, but just Tim Robinson running he's like running up steps. He's running up. This is a little spoiler, but not really. He's running up to Paul Rudd's house with a package to give it to him. And just seeing the way he runs in this big jacket, it just like cracks me up so much. And it's just him running up to a house.
Yeah.
But it's the way he does it in his like weird like mouth thing that he does. It's the best. It's the best. I was crying. I was laughing and people were too in the theater. So go see Friendship. It's amazing. But Gavin, finally, our last thing I want to do today that we do every single week is What You Listening To, where you and I recommend a song, album, or artist to each other and to the audience. Gavin, what are you listening to this week?
I am listening to Love You All the Same by Van Sire. I feel like I maybe have recommended this before, but the song came in my head recently, again, for whatever reason, and just been stuck in my head for the last couple of days. So been listening to that, been jamming to that. I think they're due for an album release later this year. I think they mentioned it, that it's going to release at the end of the year, like November, December, maybe October.
Nice.
Really looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to moving up to Minnesota because they are from Rochester. So they're going to hit the biggest city near Rochester, which is Minneapolis. And eventually I'll be able to see them live for the first time. I think I've commented on every single like tour post and been like, you need to come to St. Louis.
Yeah, like the Come to Brazil guys.
Yeah, I am. But they did go to Phoenix, and I probably could have made a trip to Phoenix to see them and my brother, but
fuck your brother.
money was a little tight during that time, so, and also there was no way, and it was like a Tuesday or something like that, so I was like, I'm not doing that. So yeah, very excited to see where they go, and they were in New York City. They like DJ'd for the Democratic candidate for New York City mayor.
Oh, cool.
Zoran.
Okay. Yeah.
Is it Zoran? Zohan?
I think so. It's one of those.
Yeah. It starts with a Z. But
I don't live in New York.
They were at his rally, I guess
Nice.
last night or 2 nights ago.
That's cool.
To DJ, so that was cool. So they're very leftist kind of guys. So very.
I like that.
Yeah, they're really cool guys. So
Very
hope to meet
cool.
it. That'd be great if I could meet him someday.
Yeah,
I might run into him. You know, who knows?
Yeah, maybe they'll start a cryptocurrency and you can get invited to a nice
And
dinner.
I could invest in it. The Van Sire coin.
There's an idea, Van Sire. I'll get some. I know some crypto people who can hook you up with. No, they would. The crypto people I know don't involve themselves with the corrupt garbage. This week, I'm very excited to say I have been listening to Sleep Token's brand new album. Just came out 2 Fridays ago, so right before I left on vacay.
I have some comments about this album I would like to share whenever you are finished.
Oh, interesting. Did you listen to it?
I did not listen to it,
Oh, interesting.
but there's a couple things I'd like to share.
Okay. I was so excited for this album as soon as it was announced. Because it was like, I'm a new Sleep Token fan. I like officially got into them late last year, and then just like was obsessively listening to them for the past few months, and just being like, man, I need some new. Like, I got to the point where I was like, okay, I need new music from them. I can't keep listening to these songs over and over again. And then out of nowhere, a new single drops, and then here we are months later with a new album, and it is really fucking good. It's so far at the top of my list. I don't like the way what you're doing with your hands. So I'm going to stop looking at you. It's at the top of my list for best albums of the year so far. Look to Windward is great. My favorite song though on the album is Gethsemane. It's a really weird word. They have their funny words that they like to use. Their big words is great. Dangerous, Provider, Past Self. It's so good. It's like the heaviest of their albums, but then also has some of the most poppy, light stuff they've ever done too. It's like a very big contrast on this album, but it's not too different than what they've done before. I would say less ambient than what they've done in the past. But that Gethsemane song has like a math rock emo thing that like I was like it blew my mind. It came out of nowhere and it's so good. Great album though. Okay, what are you evil?
No,
villain
so
hands
it's actually
about?
funny because I heard it is a really bad album, and a
Oh.
lot of people were taken aback at how like Disney adult it felt. Some people really didn't like it.
Disney adult.
Yeah, there were like a couple people I saw online were like, this Sleep Token stuff is like this Sleep Token album is terrible. However, people were saying the same thing about the Ghost album, and interestingly, these two bands actually just outsold each other. So Ghost first outsold like or sold the most like heavy rock vinyl ever, like pre-order or something like that. And then like 2 weeks later, Sleep Token beat them.
Holy shit.
And they're both foreign European mask-wearing bands.
Yeah.
And Americans can't stop pre-ordering it. To elaborate on the Disney adult thing, they're like, it just has that, like, I think of note, it was probably Anthony Fantano, but then that permeated into a whole bunch of, like, circles that I was seeing that they were like, usually I'm a Sleep Token fan, but, like, this is just way too poppy for me. And it's funny because people were saying the same thing about the Ghost album. Because and they were saying the exact same thing. They were like, this album is way too poppy. It doesn't really sound like Ghost. Old fans aren't really a big fan of it, but I have listened to it a couple times through it.
The Ghost album.
The Ghost album, and I will get through it eventually. Like,
you're not into it though.
I recommend it. I mean, it's definitely Ghost.
Sure.
It's just not their best, and I mean, I really like their single from Lacrima, their single Lacrima from that album, but.
I'll like to watch Fantano's video about it. I like Fantano. I just don't watch his stuff ever.
And it's
but
just
when
a
I
single
do,
critic.
I enjoy it.
It's just a single critic. So I mean,
but if other people are saying it, I totally. I have a few things to say. I totally disagree. It is like exactly on par with what they've put out in the past. Like it is,
and that's what I listened
different.
to one song and I was like, this sounds exactly like how I've always heard it.
That's so weird because it's no different than anything they've done. It feels like a lateral move to me. And I think I think there's songs on it that are some of their best, but maybe not as a whole album. I don't know if I would say it's my favorite.
Same thing with the Ghost album.
Okay.
The exact same thing. They're like, it's some of the best songwriting is on that album, but some of the songs also the whole album as a whole is just not good.
And I also with Sleep Token, I think I've talked about it before, but like
they started to reach mass appeal.
Oh yeah, which I love. I mean, dude, a little tangential, but Knocked Loose, who I love, they just announced that they're opening for Metallica. Next year. I saw that. Which I love when bands like this get mass appeal, and Sleep Token is fucking huge. They sold out Crypto.com in October. Like, it's crazy. But what I was gonna say is that when I first got into them, I was like, the reason I couldn't fully get into it right away is because I was like, this isn't heavy enough for me. I like their heavy stuff, but I can't do this poppy ambient shit. And now I'm the complete opposite. I'm like, I love the heavy stuff, but I love this poppy stuff even more.
Right.
So I don't know. I don't know what people were wanting, but that's interesting.
Yeah.
But I will say, though I love them and I think they're a great band, and probably same for Ghost, but I'm not. I wouldn't say I'm a Ghost fan. I like them though, but I saw a video that an account I follow that I really like, and I'm blanking on the name. Shit, I can't remember what they're called. It's gonna drive me nuts. Catatonic Use on Instagram. They'll post like terrible music things, usually like not stuff like this, but they were posting some things about Sleep Token, which I felt a little defensive at first, and then I was like, no, let me just like watch this. And there was a clip, and it just started. The clip started with like the shot of like the front row of a crowd of like emo people, mostly girls aged like I would say 18 to 25, like losing their mind as if like the Beatles were right in front of them. Like think of the Beatles on Ed Sullivan, of them freaking out. Shea Stadium. And it's just that shot. You don't hear any music. It's just the crowd losing their mind. And then the camera pans and it's the Sleep Token lead singer who goes by the name Vessel just standing there. It's like not doing anything. And the caption was like, what are they freaking out about?
Happens with ghosts.
Yeah. Like, what are they freaking out about? He's just standing there. So like, I can laugh at that because like the one thing I will not get into is I cannot stand when a band or an artist has lore. When there's like this deep lore to the band and they're all characters and stuff. Like I think the character thing is cool. That's why I love Slipknot. But like when there's like this weird lore and they're mysterious and it's all the fans, it's all the fucking weird Disney adult like fans who make up this weird lore about it.
Right. And that's what the Ghost Band does.
Yeah. And that's the reason I really can't fully get into Tyler the Creator. Because it's all this fucking lore. Well, that's not Tyler rapping. That's this other character he does. And it's like, grow the fuck up. Like, it's a music. Like, I'm not doing this fucking weird thing where it's like, that's actually not an album by Tyler. He's actually doing this character. And it's like, fuck off. So it's like, I love this. I love Sleep Token, but like, some of the shit is ridiculous and laughable for sure. And I think no problem saying that.
There's always some level of that I think every band should be aware of. But I think all bands, I think particularly bands that have character work, do tend to like at least acknowledge it a little bit or have some nods to it. I mean, Ghost literally made a fucking movie. Like they made like a tour movie,
which
and
is cool.
Very well aware of it.
Yeah,
but they included lore in that.
Never mind.
And you had to be a bought in fan to go watch it.
Yeah. I don't like that.
And to the defense of my family, I mean, I totally get it, but also I haven't watched any of their recent videos or drops of like their lore basically, because frankly, I just don't care.
That's the way I am. I'm like,
I just don't really care. I'm like, I like the music. That's great. But like, I don't care. I mean, and they're funny, but they're charming. But it's just kind of grown a little tired on me at this point. So
it's a little nothing wrong with it. There's things that I like that are childish, but it's a little childish. And that's and again, it's fine. That's just my opinion, our opinion. Yeah, it does well for them. I think in the case of Sleep Token, I think it is partially their fault, but that seems to be a lot of the fans that are making up this.
Oh yeah, no, the Ghost is entirely it's them. It's all of them.
Ghost
it's all
like,
of them.
No, that was their money off of this.
Yeah, they're like, we're making probably shit tons of money.
Dude,
off of
and
that,
God fucking bless you. Keep doing it.
Yeah, go ahead. If you're that creative and you can create all this lore without using, like an AI tool or anything to help you do that,
why
great.
not?
Have at it. Why not? Do it. I mean, if you want to make a character and you want to go do that, that's great.
Do it.
But may not be my jam.
Yeah.
Right. So.
All right. Let's get out of here. I don't even know if my camera's on. Apologies. We were dealing with some issues today, but hopefully we'll have that fixed for next week. And you guys didn't even notice that. Are we? Oh. Well, everybody,
thanks for listening to Takes All Kinds Podcast episode 217. Keep watching, keep listening, keep doing whatever it is you do to our episodes. And we'll be here making new episodes every week on Mondays.
What the fuck?